So welcome to the ABP's New Member Welcome session. So we run these sessions about once every month to every 6 weeks to, I guess, give a bit of a personal welcome to those people that have chosen to join the ABP from someone who is currently working on the board and has had a bit of a long history with the ABP. That's me. And to make sure that you understand the full range of benefits that the association that you've joined offers, and also to tell you a little bit about its history, its aspirations, and also how, if you're interested, you can get involved. We've actually extended the invitation for today's event. So we've said, well, look, this is open to people who have just joined, but also to those who are thinking of joining and have maybe heard about the ABP mentioned for a little while now, not really sure what our purpose is and what we do. So this gives you a bit of a taster so you can decide if you'd like to join us. My name's Ben Williams. So I was the chair of the ABP for 2 years in I think 2016. Hi, Harleen. Yes, so the chair for a couple of years. I've been on the board before as well. Currently, I'm head of what we're calling the advocacy branch of the ABP. So my job is to spread the word far and wide outside of the boundaries of business psychology about the value that we can bring. So networking with other associations and people that are often our clients or partners about how we can foster those links. So let's run through the agenda for today. Now, I know that this invite has been set for 1.5 hours. It's unlikely to take us that long, but let's see how many questions we have. So we're going to tell you a little bit about who we are and what we do. We'd like to get to know you as well and what you'd like from us. So at each one of these sessions, we ask people not only what enticed them to join the ABP, but also what the perfect membership body for business psychologists would look like. Every one of these sessions, we gather this together and we present it back to the board so that they remain up to date on what our members want from us. I'll walk you through some of our upcoming events. So we've got a nice full calendar, including the conference that's just recently been announced, and Q&A. Now, Q&A can happen at any point, of course, throughout the presentation, but there'll be a space for that at the end.
What's wrong?
Well, if you're listening in, then probably just go on mute until you've got a question, and then feel free to interrupt me at any point. Okay, so who are the Association for Business Psychology? So we're the professional body for business psychology practitioners in the UK, founded in the year 2000, so 24 years now, championing professional excellence and evidence-based practice using an understanding of psychology and human behavior to improve business performance and the quality of working lives. Our mission statement is to be the home and voice of business psychology. So delving back a little bit into the ABP's history, the reason why the ABP was set up originally was to be a place for business psychologists to gather that was very practitioner focused. So talking about not only the research and academia behind occupational psychology, but also about the real world challenges that our clients or our stakeholders are often facing when we're practicing as business psychologists. So I guess it was set up as a place where we could hold conferences, put on events that would provide real, tangible, immediate, practical benefits to people in performing their duties as a business psychologist. And that was as distinct at the time from the DOP, which was perhaps had a bit more of an academic kind of focus upon it. So a lot of the presenters at the conference, for example, whilst also highly experienced practitioners, might focus more upon like journal published papers and those kind of very grand, large scale studies, whereas the ABP conference, by contrast, you'll see a little bit of that, but you'll also hear about practitioner case studies and qualitative research reflections and different formats like roundtables, forums, etc. I was always a little skeptical of the purpose of the ABP. So I'm a dyed-in-the-wool, I'm a chartered occupational psychologist. and BPS member since I was a student. But I was enticed along to an ABP conference around 2015. And I guess what I was struck by was the warm, welcoming nature of people that I've met there, the absence of cliqueiness. So actually, it was quite hard, actually, as a borderline introvert for me to have a little bit of headspace, because people were constantly sitting down next to me and having a chat and introducing themselves. And I really liked the way that the sessions ran, because as we'll talk about, each of the presenters were given the task of giving everyone a practical takeaway at the end of it. So what we do is rooted in evidence-based practice, it's got a very practitioner-based focus. We've got a good relationship with the DOP, so we often have the DOP with a stand at our conference and vice versa. But I just think there's that slightly different focus, in that we're very much focused upon the practitioners. Okay, so to tell you a little bit about our values, and I think some of these values also highlight some of the distinct features of the ABP. So the first point is that we are a very inclusive member organisation. So we welcome everyone who embraces business psychology or is interested in it at work. So whilst that does include a sizable proportion of occupational psychologists, it also includes people in related disciplines. So we have quite a few behavioural scientists who amongst our members. We dedicated a conference to behavioural science a couple of years ago. We'll also have some HR practitioners. We will have people who work in the area of data science. So what I guess we try and welcome people from a range of different disciplines under the umbrella, as it were, so we can learn from each other, and we can make sure that business psychology / occupational psychology stays very relevant in their minds. I remember talking to Peter Saville about his experience when he set up 10X, and how he was quite surprised at the lack of awareness of what business psychologists do when speaking to data scientists and people working in the area, for example, of game-based assessment methods. So we say, let's bring them under the umbrella, let's talk, and let's be welcoming. We like to make what we produce accessible, so make the application of business psychology user-friendly. So when you're a member, you get access to the member section of our website, where we put up videos of conference extracts. We put up our podcast, and we can talk a little bit about that later. And as I say, there's this constant thread of talking about tangible takeaways from any event that you might attend. So rather than, I can remember being wowed and impressed, but sometimes a little overwhelmed at other conferences that I've been to, where I'm thinking, well, how does that highly complex piece of statistical analysis relate to me tomorrow as a practitioner? So that's really what the ABP encourages, turning it into tangible action. Promoting business psychology. So this is the role of advocacy within the board of the ABP is a relatively new one. So I started in January. Part of that remit has been to set up an industry insight survey. And that's not an introspective navel-gazing exercise where we say, well, give us some feedback about the ABP and tell us what you think of us. This is really trying to harness the collective wisdom of the business psychology community about current trends in a whole host of different areas of business operations, so that we can then publish that, and we can have a real leading voice about what we think is happening within the worlds of business and organizations more generally. Yeah, there's other plans to come. So I've got a couple of ideas about putting together, for example, an advocacy board. So people that will actually be very senior individuals within industry who will be able to champion us to their networks and colleagues, and various other networking type events. We've had journalists along at our conferences before, and we're often consulted by the press to give our views on the issues of the day. Demonstrating best practice. So we really want to share examples of business psychology's application. So in the past, we've published books on this, where people who have been finalists in our annual awards have been collated together into business psychology and practice books. but also through the awards themselves and through the associated social media activity, we highlight people's key successes and talk about the impact that we've made as business psychologists. And also, one of the key things that we do is build capability in others. So we'll have a look at the events page shortly, but you'll see there's a wide variety of different sessions that you'll get access to as a member. Some of those face-to-face, most of those virtual, so to be easily accessible to help develop people's business psychology knowledge and skills. One thing I would actually say in relation to a LinkedIn discussion I had recently as well is people said, well, does the name business psychology mean that you're exclusively focused upon profit-making commercial enterprises? And I would say no. I would very much take a broad definition of the term business. So anything that operates in that kind of structured way, that has a core set of objectives, that has governance in place and manages people, that falls under our remit. Okay, so let me tell you a little bit about what we do. So Clodagh O'Reilly, who is our chair, when she came into post, she had a very clear vision about how we would be divided as a board and how we take responsibility for different areas. So first off, if we go from left to right, we set standards. So we have an accreditation team and an accreditation service where we set standards for and support formal business psychologist education. So these are university degrees, master's degrees, where we go in and we have a set of criteria that we would benchmark them against. There is a fair amount, as you might expect, of crossover with how the BPS might accredit courses, but we've got a greater focus upon commercial acumen and also upon consultancy skills as well. So we again try to have that more of the practitioner focus. We've got a certification team. So the certification team sets and applies standards for professional practice for individuals. So you can become a certified business psychologist at various levels. The information for that is on our website, but that is a career path that you may wish to follow for a variety of reasons. So it might be that actually maybe you don't have the BPS requirements in order to pursue the chartership route in terms of your degree subject. It might be that actually you really like the focus upon some of the more practical skills and the commercial acumen that the certification process focuses upon. There's also a few other points of difference. So the costs for certification are, we've been really mindful of making it as accessible as possible. So it's in the region of, I think it's about £2,500, whereas I know that chartership can cost a fair amount more as well. So if, again, we try to be helpful as we can on the budget side. We've also got a team that's dedicated to recognition, so celebrating the achievement of excellence in practice at the annual awards. We've actually, as I say, just announced the conference timetable. We have an AI conference buddy called Maslow, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, that will help to really bring the event to life, hopefully. And we've got a call out for submissions at the moment for presenters. So if you're interested in presenting at the conference, then please do check out the website and get in touch. The other things that we do include things like the Biz Psych Cup for students, which I believe one of the later slides talks about, but it's a way of recognizing excellence at the student level as well as the practitioner level. So we set standards. We also educate. So we have a training team that enables practitioners of business psychology to meet professional standards. So we run a series of training courses through our network or people that offer this. So we've worked with large test publishers who will offer level A and level B training through the ABP at a discounted rate. We also offer specific skills-based testing. So network analysis was a recent one, and we can have a little look a little bit later some of the others that are due. Also, I run a course in the Certificate in Practical People Assessment, which is a bit of a tongue twister, but it's essentially 6 one-hour modules that give you everything you need to know about assessment in a really kind of bite-sized, concise manner. We have an events team, so speakers. again, supporting people's continuing professional development. Again, as a member, you're entitled to attend these events, but also if you're interested in speaking, let us know. And we've got a resources team. So the resources team are host a CPD library via our online portal with informative content and that's available on demand. And that's something that we're really, I guess, expanding and tightening up that link between the training courses that we offer, the events that we put on, the resources that we hold, as well as the certification standards that we set for business psychology practice. So it's a nice cohesive whole. And then the final pillar is engage. So we've got a board member who's dedicated to attracting new members, so promoting our mission and trying to get new people to join. A retention team, so people that speak with current members of the ABP, find out what they're valuing, what they're not valuing, looking at exit data. Why do people leave the ABP? The research actually just came in, and the board member texted us that I think it was about 60% of people left because they didn't realize they'd left. So that was it's kind of positive in a way because there wasn't a big push, but obviously we need to tighten up ways to flag up to people that actually their subscription is coming to an end, and we'd really like them to sign up again for another year or two. And then the advocacy team. So that's the team that I'm heading up. So promoting standards for and recognition of the BP industry. We are a volunteer-led organization. So none of us get any money for this. We're all doing it for the love of it. We do rely heavily on volunteers, but we do are supported ably by CJAM, and Chris up in the top left-hand corner of your screen is the Oracle, the master coordinator of all things ABP operations based. You can see down the bottom that you've got an email address, admin@theabp.org.uk. So if we don't get a chance to talk about it on the call today, or if you've got any other more detailed questions, email that address and it'll likely be Chris that comes back to you to answer any questions or pass you on to the person who can help. Okay, let me just check where we are. Yeah, maybe I'll just pause there for a moment and just see if there's any questions from anyone on the call about, I guess, who the ABP are and how we're structured, first off. No, that's all right. Also, if you feel more comfortable, you can always pop it into chat and we'll monitor that as we go through. So let's dive into a little bit more of a granular level as to what we offer our members. So we do, I guess the jewel in our crown in many ways is our annual conference. So that's over a couple of days. This year it's going to be held in actually just outside London in Denham. And the focus is going to be upon how the interaction of humans and technology is going to affect the world of work in the future. Members get access at a discounted rate to the annual conference. Plus also, depending upon the stage of career that you're at, you can volunteer in various ways for the annual conference. So we have a conference team where I think it's typically in the region of about 6 or 7 volunteers get to speak to some of the great luminaries in our profession, to invite them along and to find out what they'd like to talk about. Perhaps they'll get to interview them, but also they'll do some more nuts and bolts things like speaking to the conference venue and making sure the sandwiches are not too floppy or whatever it might be. So so lots of opportunities to volunteer with the annual conference. We have a monthly newsletter. Go Camia.
Hi, I'm sorry to disturb. I was asking how to volunteer for the conference. Is there a process or a way for it?
Yeah, there's actually a couple of volunteer opportunities that have gone up on the ABP website recently. Chris, what's the standard way for volunteers to get in touch if they are interested in the conference now? Is there still availabilities for that?
I know there's already been some conversations already, but if there's not an opportunity there are lots of other opportunities as well. There is a volunteer form to fill out on the website, but if anyone's interested in volunteering, if you send me your email addresses, I'll just email you now and we can initiate a conversation that way. So yeah, Kenya, I'll email you now.
All right, perfect. All right. Thank you.
All right.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you.
I remember that the one that came out, I think it was just a few days back now, was someone who was looking for volunteer support to talk about the CPD arrangements and how we go about looking after business psychologists continuing professional development. So if not the conference, that would be one where there's a definite need right now. We have a monthly newsletter, as I say, which acts as a bit of a refresher about what's coming up, so you can plan it in your diary. We have ad hoc member offers and discounts. So these are a little bit of a rotating platter of discounts. But Chris, again, going over to you, are you aware, in terms of a couple of examples that you could share with people as to what's available at the moment?
They're on the discounts, right, Ben?
Yes, yeah,
Yep.
like discounts, offers, yeah.
So at the moment we have, there's a couple that are listed on the website, Oxygen Insurance and Integro Accounting as well, I guess, should you require an accounting service. There are a variety of others that are also in discussion at the moment, so that list should be added to you quite soon.
Great, thank you. So yes, if you are an independent practitioner and are looking for a reduced rate for your professional liability insurance, or if you would like an accounting service, then that could be good for you. If you're actually interested in offering a discount to our members, then again, that's another perspective that you might like to offer. I remember that during COVID, we had a law firm offering free consultations around what's it called when you mental blank. Someone can help me. When people are, it's not gardening leave. It'll come to me in a moment, and I'll suddenly interrupt the talk, and I'll blurt it out. But anyway, legal advice. We've also had test publishers offering access to test platforms at a reduced rate. So again, it's a good way to get in front of our membership, but also it benefits our members. The BizPsych Cup for students. So this is essentially a competition between universities where we set them a challenge that's been posed by one of our corporate members. So you can join the ABP as a corporate member rather than as an individual, which can help from a invoicing perspective if you've got many people that you want to sign up and you just want to be billed in one place. But you also get access to certain things like the ability to sponsor the conference first, but also to set challenges for the BizPsych Cup. That's also like really interesting for more experienced members, because you can act as what we'd call their angel. So you can actually decide to act as the mentor for a group of students to guide them through their challenge. And also we have a team of people that will review their entrance as well. So again, that's a way that we're helping the early years business psychologists develop their skills. Obviously, we offer professional membership status. So we have various grades of membership all the way up to fellow of the ABP, and the criteria for that are on our website. Networking, it says networking online. I would say that networking in general is the key benefit, probably above all others that I've got from the ABP. So speaking to people outside of my typical world of work, which is all lots of very statty people talking about psychometrics all the time, but actually getting to speak to people that are real specialists in the areas of coaching and development really helped to broaden my perspective. And actually, it can be really helpful. You can provide, like, you can find business alliances to go into. Now, online, you have a searchable member database where you can filter people by location, by skill set, etc. But also at our events, we build in opportunities to network into those. Member and industry insights. I've talked a little bit about the survey that we're producing, so that will be published at our conference. And then we have a podcast and a book club. So the podcast, which is called POW, Psychology of Work, is typically a selection of interviews that we have with keynote speakers at our conference that are condensed down and then released sporadically throughout the year. And then the book club is a monthly session where we get together and talk about a book. And again, that's free to attend. So there's lots of activity. And as I said, we are all a volunteer-led organization. So definitely take advantage of it as a member. But if you would be interested in volunteering yourself and having some of those benefits in terms of networking, raising your profile, perhaps doing a bit of a sideways step in your career and it certainly was a sideways step for me. Well, sideways/upward step for me when I became chair. I'd never been the chair of a volunteer body before, where I needed to try to influence without authority and work with a really wide range of people. And that was, really good development experience for me, as well as hopefully I did a halfway decent job. But it wasn't. But yeah, it was like a double, kind of a double benefit, really. Okay. So what I would suggest now is I just want to check if there are any other questions at this stage, and then we'll go into getting to know a little bit more about you and what we could be doing. Let's talk just quickly now, just I guess to wrap up, about the website, and I'll take you on a little tour of some of the areas. So on the website, there's a whole member section, which is your support for your own professional development. There are going to be some upgrades in terms of how you go about capturing your CPD in order to demonstrate that via the website, via a log. But yes, I guess it's a constantly dynamic, evolving thing. Also, here is where you can find the latest member benefits. You can manage your membership, and there are networking tools for that. So you can complete your profile. You choose to opt in, so you don't have to be a member if you don't want to be. But you can see there's a number of different filters. It's quite hard to see on this image, but you can see you can filter as to whether you're an in-house consultant, an independent, an L&D professional. What are your areas of expertise? So if you wanted to find I don't know, someone who could give you some advice and maybe help to co-run a workshop where you'd like them to talk specifically around creativity and innovation in your region, then this tool will help you to find that individual. So yeah, that's a bit of networking. Let me just share with you also, if I get my web browser up, here we go. Here. So you can also see on here the events that we've got coming up. So the ABP conference, we've got a specific website dedicated to that, where we have some, they're getting less creepy, but some AI avatars telling you a little bit about the conference and what you could hope to get from it. So they're almost human, and talks about who should attend and what it delivers. Here's the call for speakers. So if you'd like to come and speak, then check out the page there around those topics. You've got a speaker submission form that's accessible here. Sponsorship as well. So if you wanted to use that to promote your brand. Oh, look, there's me. Oh, damn, it's gone off. Okay, there was me with a slightly hairier me. Right. Now let's go back to look at the events calendar. So the conference is obviously a big one, but here you can see the events and training that we have planned. So that's today. We've got a talk here about hybrid working and the future workplace. We've got book club, where we actually have, this is how it usually works. We often have the author themselves coming along to talk through the book. So it's not just done at a distance. From workplace to athletics, the role of psychological safety in building leadership and team well-being, supporting neurodivergent well-being at work. A talk here around supporting senior women when Think Manager, Think Male still exists. And so on. And I guess we're always interested in people that would like to come along and present the results of their research or present their book. And just get in touch via the main volunteering page. But there's usually at least usually between 1 to 3 events every month that you can attend as part of your membership. We've also got a jobs board where you can post jobs that you have available, and you can also look for jobs. And then there's access to the podcasts here, and information about the ABP different membership levels.